Valentina fought Liz Carmouche, and this fight really needed to happen in a couple of ways. You can't deny Carmouche. You can't say she doesn't belong there, and I don't think that anybody did, but she beat her before. And a lot of people didn't know that, but she beat her before, which is relevant because Valentina likely wanted to get that one back. Right off the top of my head, I don't think Valentina has lost to anyone other than Carmouche and Amanda. I think I'm right on that. So she likely would like to go back and erase that one. So you have the fight. Okay, great. It wasn't the most interesting and all this stuff fight. Valentina controlled the action. Valentina won the fight. But let's talk about the drama that comes after it. And the fights are fun, but if you're a hardcore fan, right, the storyline is more fun. Where do we go from here? It's very important. It's a reason that they always get asked that. Everybody asks them that, including us. So let's try to guess, because I feel that the flyweight division for the women is in a very interesting spot. And it's not in the world's greatest spot. It's not the deepest division. It's not going to be wonderful for Valentina. Her next fight is not going to be some mega fight, big box office. It's just not. But that's not her fault. An opponent needs to step in there. An opponent has got to come in and provide something. They've got to raise their hand. They've got to call her. There's an opportunity here. And I hope that they're seeing it, because who's next for Valentina it's not clear. It's not clear at all. Wasn't completely clear even when she had Liz, other than you kind of had the backstory and people like and respect Liz. I mean, right? It wasn't one of these mega stories. Let me tie this in with Demetrious Johnson. Demetrious Johnson was so good. And he was handsome. And he was likable. And he was fast. And Demetrious Johnson checked every box you could check. But he didn't have these huge mega fights. And I feel like that story was never told correctly, because that was never Demetrius' fault. And so many people blame that on Demetrius. That is not true. That was not true when Demetrius was going through it. Problem was, Demetrius is in a car. He's in the front seat. His next fight is going to be for the world title. His fight is going to headline. It's going to be marquee. It's going to be the main event. His spot is set, but the passenger seat is empty. He needed a passenger to step in there, to come out, to ruffle some not to try to be the nice guy and out nice guy Demetrius. You're not going to out nice guy Demetrius. You're just not. Everybody likes it. You're just not. You're not going to outskill Demetrius. You're not going to convince us that you should be fighting him because you have better skills, or that you're faster, or you're more dynamic, or that you can throw people in the air and armbar them on the way down like a video game better than he can. None of those things. That part of the story is just not going to win over the interest and the imaginations of the audience. But it's still your job if you want in that passenger seat. It's your job. And nobody ever did that job. Nobody ever did that job for Demetrius. And because he was a champion, he took the blame. Now, the only reason I bring that up and I tie that in is look, Shevchenko could be in that same spot. She's not. She's not in that, but she could be. She could end up there. She's good. And it's very hard to imagine that somebody else is as good. It's just tough. Unless you're going to move her up, or Amanda's going to go cut some weight and come down, and we're going to go see that fight. Look, you take those two out of the picture, against each other, right? I don't think there's a big demand to see them fighting. I don't think you're going to do that. You start messing with some divisions there. Somebody needs to step into that role. They just do. And nobody should feel a pressure by what I'm saying. They should feel an excitement, because it is a major opportunity. If you were to go through several of the divisions and talk about who's going to be next and who's the top contender, you're going to have a big discussion. If you go look at 170 pounds right now, even though we believe it's going to be Colby and Kamara, there's a discussion there. There's a lot of people saying, hey, why is Ponzinibbio not being looked at? And how come Leon Edwards is getting ignored? And why is George Masvidal's record-setting knockout? And how did we all forget about Tyron? You guys get the point. There's a discussion. When there's not a discussion, when that isn't going, it's an opportunity. It's a major opportunity. Don't forget, it was not that long ago that we lived through the cyborg era where you could be a number one contender for the championship of the world, fighting on a main event, making main event money by raising your hand and saying, I'll do it. That wasn't that long ago, when literally nobody would even walk out there and do it. And you could get that spot just by raising your hand. It's a similar situation right now at flyweight. It's not as drastic and it's not as dramatic, but I could see this over a period of time. When you have somebody as classy in fairness and as sportsmanlike in truth and fairness as Valentina, she's just not going to ruffle feathers. It's just not. But she's also in the driver's seat and she's got a 12-pound gold belt that says she gets to stay there. It is incumbent on somebody to jump in the passenger seat that offers something compelling to us. And guys and gals, not about the punches and the kicks. It's just not. That is for a contained time up to 25 minutes. The buildup for these matches is 90 days. I can beg you and yell at you until I'm red in the face that those 90 days matter and your punches and your kicks aren't involved. I can beg you to understand that concept. But I can't make you. The passenger seat is open. It needs a compelling character that is not the same character. Do not do what everybody did to Demetrius by trying to be Demetrius. By trying to tell us about your record and your resume and your skills, or coming to try out and smile and be more handsome and more likable than Demetrius. That seat is taken and there is an expression in business, and ultimately you are now partners with your opponent, whether you like that person or not. You are business partners, and don't ever forget this expression. If two people in a company always agree on everything, one of them is not needed.